Welcome back and happy March to you. Not to me. I'm recording this in February because I'm extremely tech savvy. Continuing the top 100 this time. Hopefully, no crazy mistakes about pulling out the wrong game, but we'll see. You never know. 60 through 51 today. So finishing out the bottom 50 of the top 100. Yeah, said it right. Without any further ado, let's get to it. A lot of smaller games here and a couple that I don't know or that I don't own. I do know them. That's why they're on the top 100. Also, several new games so that were not on the list before. So here we go. Number 60 is Mystic Vale. This was 33 last year. I had a chance to play this again recently with who was I playing that with? I think Abby and Jen and Jonathan. And Jonathan did break the game, which wasn't as much fun. But man, what a good game! I just can't allow Jonathan to break it anymore. This is a game where you have card. It's deck building, but your cards you have the same cards the whole game. It's like 20 cards in your deck, but you add little parts to the cards by sliding these see-through pieces into the sleeve that the cards are in. So your card crafting is what they call it. I think this might have been the first card crafting game. From John D. Clare, famous designer. I really dislike Space Base from him. I really love this one. Has a little bit of the feel of Living Forest in that you're flipping out these cards and trying not to bust. But I mean, you could also play the whole game and like never risk it. Really like it. It was 33 last year, 60 this year. That is Mystic Vale. Number 59 has been on the list since the beginning. It's bounced around a little bit, but it's always here, and it's a great game. And this is Bonanza. This is the bean farming game. It says to bean or not to bean, and isn't that really the question? This is from Uwe Rosenberg, my favorite designer. It's a weird game. This is a game. There's only a few of them that I can think of. This is a game where you have to keep your hand of cards in the same order, and that's very frustrating because you have to plant the first card that comes up on your turn, and sometimes you don't want to. You have all these weird beans that you're trading around. So you might have coffee beans, green beans, pinto beans, etc., etc., with very weird artwork on them. They came out with a version of this game that's like flowers instead. I think it's called like dahlias or something. But who wants that when you can have the weird bean artwork? Yeah, great negotiation game where you're trading beans with other people, and yeah, it's weird, but it really works. That's number 59, Bonanza. Number 58 was 58 last year. Imagine that. This is a roll and write. This is Merchants of Magic. In this game, you are playing a merchant who is selling magical items to adventurers, and it's very much a like there's a little bit of player interaction, but it's very much like everybody's getting the same dice. What can you all do with them to differentiate yourself from the other players? There's also these items that circle the table that are very interesting. I think the way to do well in the game is to focus on what items are coming up towards you. So if you got a lot of like helmets coming up towards you, you might want to start making helmets. Yeah. So I'm also this is by Clarence Simpson, and I follow him on Blue Sky. I feel like he's done a couple other games I really like. I need to pay attention to his designs more. Anyway, what else does he design? I'll look it up later, and I won't tell you. That's Merchants of Magic, and also plays up to 8, which is great. Love a good 8-player game that doesn't take forever and still has interesting decisions. Number 57 was 75 last year. Woohoo, what a flip-flop. It's been on the list since the beginning. This is one of the best 2-player games. This is Lord of the Rings, The Confrontation. Highly out of print. There was also a deluxe edition that I've never played, which is also highly out of print. But this is coming back from Ghost Galaxy. It's the company that's doing Keyforge right now. This is kind of Stratego, but with more interesting combat in that each player has a hand of cards, and then when there's a clash, as in Stratego, and you don't know who you're fighting until you fight them, and then you flip over the little tile with your character, and then you each choose a card. And it can be really interesting. You can like play some ability cards, you can play some cards to cancel abilities, you can play just number cards to add to the strength. Yeah, really interesting tight little game. Very small. Each side has 9 characters. The good side wins if they get Frodo to Mordor. The bad side, the dark side, Darth Vader, he wins if he gets if he gets 3 guys into the Shire, or if he kills Frodo. Obviously, we all know Darth Vader really hates Frodo. Yeah, and then like the good side has Gandalf, who's the most powerful card in the game, but the bad side guys tend to be more powerful than the good side guys, and but you can have like some sacrificial guys, and then the good side has people like Gimli automatically kills the orcs, Legolas immediately kills the flying Nazgul. Yeah, Darth Vader automatically kills the Emperor. I'm gonna be done with this bit now. Great game, Lord of the Rings: The Confrontation. Moving on, this is the first year this game is on the list. I played it several years ago, actually, with Valerie and John, so shout out to them. And this is Skull. Skull is a great, as the Shut Up and Sit Down and the UK people say, it's a great pub game, as in you bring it to the pub or the bar if you're, a classless American like me. And then you are essentially just bluffing your friends. So you play a lot of different rounds. The first person to win 2 rounds wins the game. But also, the last person standing wins the game because very much you can be bluffing your opponents and be like, oh, I bet I can flip over 5 of the flowers before finding a skull. And they're like, I'll do 6. And you're like, pass. And then they flip over yours and you put down your skull and they're like, no. This is, I don't know if it's the best bluffing game. It probably is. It's probably the highest one on my list. But this is bluffing distilled down to its simplest. And I really love that. Also, found this one while thrifting last year, and I was doing a thrifting scavenger hunt on BoardGameGeek. And one of the things is like, choose a game that you hope you want to find this year. And I chose Skull for my game, and then I found it, and that was great. Lots of fun. That's Skull. Number 55, also new to the list, and I do not own this game. Nikki owns this game. This is Container. Container is probably the game that is the most insane with the blandest theme. In that this is a game of buying and selling shipping containers. So you're like making the goods for the containers and then selling them to the people who are transporting them, and then the people are transporting them and selling them to like this island where all the containers are going. It is very much a closed economy game, meaning that like at a certain times like money comes into the system, but really a lot of it's just shuffling money around between the players. Words cannot truly describe how insane this game is and how weird and wild the game is. I think I played this with Nikki and Rich like last year at a like let's just get together and play a couple games we haven't played before sort of day, and mind blowing. I need to play it again. I've only played it the one time. If you care to find out more about this game, because I'm doing a terrible job explaining it, Shut Up and Sit Down has an amazing review of Container. Well worth your time, so check it out. That's number 55, Container. Number 54, new to the list. I also don't own this one, and this is a deck building game. This is Endless Winter Paleo Americans. This is from Stan Kordonsky. He has a game higher up on the list. But yeah, this is a very much kind of in the style of Dune Imperium or Lost Ruins of Arnak. Sometimes people talk about like the 3 of them that came out around the same time with a deck building game that has other things going on the board. This is my second favorite of those 3, but they really don't feel that alike. It's just the idea of taking deck building and adding it to a game that is bigger and larger and pretty heavy. I would say this is right in that medium heavy space where my top 10 tend to be medium heavy games. In fact, let me scroll up real quick. Are these all medium heavy games at this point? Yeah, my top 10 games are all like right around the same difficulty. One of them you could argue is not medium heavy, it's just medium. But this one doesn't quite make it up there, but it's got some really interesting things going on. I like the theme. I like that there's some slight asymmetry, but you can very much do lots of different strategies, like a combination of several strategies or focus in one thing. And I think it works out pretty well. Yeah, so Happy to play this game several times. Bob owns it. It's not one I really need to own because I don't want to play it as much as like some of my other medium heavy games. But yeah, great game. That's number 54, Endless Winter. Number 53, this one's a bit of a surprise for me. This is new to the list. It's a roll and write. I had taught this game for a long time before I ever actually played it. And this is Mindspace. So at conventions, I often work for Allplay, which is the company that makes this game. And so I know most of their games, and I've taught them a bunch of times because people come up and be like, let me teach you this game. This game is so much more interesting when you play it than when you are just learning the rules and teaching it. So I was like, it's fine. It's like a lighter Cartographers. No, I like this game better than Cartographers, which some may find controversial. In this game, you have like a little brain board, and you are trying to. It's hard to see on the back here, but I don't want to open it up because it doesn't close easily. You're putting little polyomino pieces out on the brain board, and they score in different ways, and there's different goals that you're trying to achieve. The decision space after, like, there's a lot of randomness. You're rolling the dice, you lay them up in front of these cards that came out randomly. But the decision space at that point as to what one shape do you want to draw on your board and where is really great. Really love this game. I wish it got more acclaim, I guess. I think it's from a Japanese designer. But yeah, I should actually check out their other stuff because really good. That's number 53, Mindspace. Number 52 was 43 last year. It's a roll and write. This is Next Station London. Really solid roll and write. This is you're making metro stations or like public transit. Yeah, subway lines. It says subway lines. There's also Next Station Paris, Next Station Tokyo. I haven't played them. Don't need to. This is a great game. I'll just keep on playing this one. I have another roll and write about making called Metro X, I think. Yeah, it's down there. This one's a little bit better. Metro X is good too. It's a great theme, like just creating public transit lines. Love public transit. Really interesting. That's Next Station London. I don't have a ton to say about it other than it's a great roll and write. Where you're flipping right, I guess, because you're flipping up cards. But I kind of categorize them all the same. And finally, number 51, new to the list, deck building game and a solo only game called Resist. So I had heard of this game. I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I like kind of the theme. Then I thrifted it and I played it. Wow. The theme is the Spanish Civil War, and you are playing the Maquis. So yeah, the loyalists who are rebelling against Franco's regime. So here's the thing about this game. You start with a deck of like your group of loyalists, right? And over the course of the game, you're trying to execute missions. All of your people have two uses. You can use them like the normal way, which is just adding a bit of strength, having a special ability, something like that. Or they can go out in a blaze of glory and they either die or are captured, and you lose access to them for the rest of the game, barring some other people who can like spring them out of jail or get them back. But so there is an emotional impact to this game that is rare to see in a game themed around war. Very interesting to have this whole kind of like, this is one of my best cards. I really don't want to lose this person, but how on earth can I, accomplish this mission unless they are willing to put themselves in harm's way for the cause? It's kind of wild. Also, I recommend if you're gonna play this game, read For Whom the Bell Tolls, which is by Ernest Hemingway, and a fantastic book. This one deserves me playing it more. It's hard to get to the table because yes, it's fun, but also the emotional impact that it has actually makes you like think about the implications of what you're doing. And that's rare in a board game. There are certainly some of them. Really good one right here. That's number 51, Resist. Thanks for watching. Hoping to get through these, as soon as I can, but what can I say? I'm a busy man. So let me know what you thought in the comments, and yeah, talk to you soon. Bye.